Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo and welcome to day 312 of a year of change. Today I want to bring up something that I've seen slowly creeping in over the past couple of days. And it's nothing major. It's not like a huge, oh my god, this is so dramatic sort of thing. But it's something that I've had to sort of stop and look back and go, all right, not great. This is what I need to do. And basically, it's what do you do when you finally hit that wall? Now, I mean, we've had setbacks before. We've had plateaus where we haven't lost anything. We've had weeks where we just have a really hard time. We struggle through sort of, especially getting new stuff going. We don't really want to track the way that we, normally should. Stuff like that. We've always had some issues from time to time. But what I found is that over the past few days, it's been a really, really hard struggle to keep going. And I'll get into the whole contributing factor thing in a second, but there are two sides to this. One of which, of course, naturally the side that I'm sort of leaning towards is the one that says, you know what? Grow up. Push through it. You'll come out on the other end in the long run. It sounds kind of douchey, but you know what I mean. And just sort of push through. Keep going because you can't stop. Because if you stop, then you're going to end up going back to the way that you were. And that part I think, okay, you know what, that makes sense. I understand it. Then the other part of me is thinking, yeah, but oh my God, I'm so tired. And I've been going right out straight for 10 months and I want a week off. That's all I want. Where I don't have to do anything. I don't have to track my food. I don't have to do exercise. I don't want to do any of the shit that I've been doing for such a long time. And that is where the danger lies for me. Because I don't think that it's something that is very wise that I do. It's not, when I say it's not something I can do, I don't mean that it's like, oh, I'm so awesome, I can just keep going. I have to stay busy. Those kind of people. But I don't think it's something that I should be doing. I can't do that because it's only going to take a few days and then I'm lost. I've got a really good streak. A really good streak. I have a really good streak going as well. And I want to keep that going. I don't want to get to, day 398 and then miss a day. And then I miss out on day 400 or day 500 or something like that. I want to keep it going. I want to stay involved. Well, I haven't been as involved as I should be. But I want to stay involved with that and just sort of keep going and, go beyond my halfway point that I'm at now and just keep going and reach my goal and then get healthier and get fitter and all the other stuff. And I can't do that if I sort of stop slowing down is different. We'll get to that in a second. But what had actually happened, what has triggered this, can't talk at all, I'm sorry. What has triggered this is, there have been a number of different things. First and foremost, I think this is a part of it. It's a small part. I feel like I'm spitting all over the place. Nope. Part of it, and a very, very tiny, itty bitty part of it, is that there has been a schedule change for me for this week at work. It's not a huge change. It's only a couple of hours, but I'm going in later. I'm going in about 3 hours later. Coming home later. There's that schedule has been broken up, and the problem is I'm still getting up at the same time. I'm still getting up at 5 in the morning, which was probably not a good idea because then I'm stuck. I'm like, there are gaps in my day which aren't filled with things. Like, I need that structure in order for me to keep going the way that I'm going. I need to have that structure because during the weekends my days are just, they're written off. I'm just sort of going every which way. Not really being busy or anything, but just I don't have any sense of direction during the weekends. It's really tough to sort of stay on target at that point and keep tracking all my stuff and eat healthy. And usually if you go through my diary, those are the days when things go bad. So I think that's part of it. Now, on the plus side, that's over at the end of the week. So I only have another 3 days, including today, and then it'll be over and done with. But that is part of it. Another part of it is in general, I've stayed under my calorie goals, so that's good. I've come close a couple of days, but in general, I've just been I haven't been eating as healthily Yes. I haven't been eating healthy like I should have been. I don't know which words to use, sorry. But I haven't been eating properly, really. I'm still under my goal, but I had macaroni and cheese for the first time in a long time, and it was good, but it's, eh, I just gotta, yeah, you know what I mean. That's all I can do to explain it. And I think that's contributing to it as well, because it's not the same as saying, well, I had, one meal where it was bad. I've had it a couple of times now, and I'm still below where I need to be, but probably part of it is like the increased sodium and all the starches and all the other stuff contributing to it. I'm just not used to it anymore, so I think that sort of added to it as well. I'm not sleeping as well just because of the schedule change thing going on. The whole slew of stuff. So what had happened was yesterday morning, I got up. Well, actually, no, sorry. We'll start with Monday. On Monday, still did my treadmill. Things were fine. I started off on that, going, walking for 7 minutes, or jogging for 7 minutes, walking for 3, jogging for 7, walking for 3, because that's what I wanted to do for this week. Yesterday when I got up, that wall hit me in a big way. And I didn't want to do anything. It took me forever to drag my ass out of bed. I was really lethargic throughout the entire morning, to a point when you think, yeah, I probably should shower because I stink and I don't want to go to work all smelly, and just really sort of fighting with yourself just to get going. Which I haven't had a hard time getting up like that since I was in school and having to get up at like god-awful early hours in the morning to go to school. But I thought, okay, what? I'm still going to do my stuff. I'm still going to go. And, so I was a little bit late getting going. Normally what I'll do is I'll walk for 5 minutes. And then at that 5-minute mark, that's when I do my first 7 minutes, and then 3 and 7 and 3. With this, I got to the 5-minute mark, went, I'm going to do another 5 minutes, and then I'll start at the 10-minute mark. And usually when I get that far up, then I just sort of reset the clock on the treadmill and start for 5 minutes. And then that way I can go, okay, I know I can sort of gauge everything. But I got to 10 minutes and I went, all right, I'm not going to reset. I'm going to keep going. So as it turns out, I walked for 10 minutes, then jogged for 7, walked for 3, jogged for 7, walked for 3, jogged for 7, and then started walking again, got to my 4th interval and simply couldn't do it anymore. If I had pushed myself really hard, obviously I could have. There's never a reason when you're just like, I just couldn't do it. I was totally exhausted. No, just it hit that wall. The urge to continue was gone. The desire to, just do anything exercise related was gone. My arm is really itchy. Just everything. Just, what's the motivation is the word I'm looking for. Can't think of any other good words to use. Everything just kind of went and was gone. So, initially I had that reaction of, I'm just, screw it. I'll pick it up tomorrow. I'm not going to do it today. I'm just going to get ready and sort of lay around the house and not do anything. Now, on Monday, I had gone through that. That was fine. I did all the stuff. I had eaten a little too much chili. Still didn't go over, but you don't need 2 big bowls of chili. But I had sort of offset that a little bit, because late on Monday, it was about 15 below, somewhere around there, which isn't super, super cold. It's like 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So I thought, I was bored. I had already sort of gone through and cleaned my house and just didn't want to go to bed. Wasn't hungry because I had a belly full of chili, and just I didn't know what to do. So I thought, I don't have anywhere to go, nothing to do. I still have plenty of time. I'm wide awake. I'm going to go for a walk. So I did. I just sort of, and it wasn't like the same thing that I would do on my treadmill. I'm not going for a jog in the middle of the night. I took a leisurely, sauntery, mosey almost stroll. Not very long, like half an hour, and just sort of took my time and wandered around and all that stuff, which was really nice. I probably will do it again. Came home, went to bed, got up, did all the other stuff. And so Monday, I'm not too concerned with that at all. It's mainly yesterday, because once I hit that wall at the halfway point, which is around the 35-minute mark, I was like, I can't do another half hour of this. I simply can't. It's not there. That gumption is gone. The problem is, though, is that I don't want to ever get to a point where I'm just saying, you know what, I'm not doing anything. Because for me anyway, I need structure. I need to have that set schedule. And I think that's why this week has sort of really thrown me. It's not a huge difference in time, but, a couple of hours is a couple of hours. I'm not 12 hours, on the other side of the clock, but it's enough to throw everything out of whack, just enough to be disruptive. And that's probably the best term for it. So I thought I don't want to just stop altogether, so I'm just going to walk. And so instead of me continuing on and having, 35 minutes, so then, 2 or 3, I'll say 3 intervals of jogging. I would have 3 more intervals coming up. Instead, I just walked the rest of the way. Still did the full hour, but I did my regular walk and went, you know what? It's still better than nothing. So the main reason why I'm bringing this up is that there are going to be times when we've just simply had enough. When everything about us, every fiber of our being is saying, enough is enough, I don't want to do this anymore. Whether it's tracking our food, whether it's doing your exercise, no matter how often you're doing it, even just eating healthy, just there is going to come a time when you don't want to do this anymore. You want to stop. Not a permanent thing. Like in your head, you're thinking, you know what? I want the rest of the week off. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to pick up on Monday and things will be fine. And in the grand scheme of things, that might be true. And I know that over the past couple of weeks, I've sort of been saying, oh, well, cheat day here and a cheat day there. It's not going to be all that bad. I don't want to sort of put the idea forward that, you've worked so hard to get where you are now. Now we can start adding in more cheat days. I don't want to do that. Because it's the same thing as saying, well, you know what? Every single weekend I can just eat whatever I want, not exercise and do everything else, and I'm still going to lose weight. Simply not going to happen. But I think during those moments, when we get to that point where we simply can't do it anymore, and this is where that whole turn that frown upside down thing's going to come from, I think we still need to do something. And it doesn't have to be the same intensity. It doesn't have to be the same duration. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing that we do every single day. But I think we still need to be present for it. And I think that would be much more helpful in keeping us going than forcing ourselves and pushing ourselves through something. I mean, in the long run, if I was to just say, no, you know what, I'm going to still do the treadmill thing. I'm still going to run. I only have 2 or 3 more intervals to do. I'm going to keep going and then do it again on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and everything will be fine. Then, yes, I'm still going to come through. It's still going to be fine. It's a matter of a combination of not eating properly and not sleeping properly and my schedule being all weird, just a whole ton of little teeny tiny things. But as we've seen over the past 10 months, they do add up. And it's not an excuse. It's a reason behind it. But I could have easily gone through it. Well, not easily, but I could have gone through it. Pushed through and still have done my treadmill. Grammar is eluding me for the moment. But I think that rather than just saying, you know what, I'm going to force myself to get through it, do something that we hate and possibly, turn our attitude in the wrong way. On the other side of that, obviously, I don't want to just say, you know what, I'm not doing this. I'm stopping for the day. I'm going to take the rest of the week off. So I think it's very, very important when we hit these moments where we don't want to do any of this anymore, where we've had enough. We've been going for 10 months straight and we just want to have a week off, that we don't just take the whole week off. Not even really a full day. It's fine to sort of be, I don't know if it's really fine. It's not good, what I've done. I've just sort of been lax the past couple of days. I'm still under my goal for calories, which is really good. I'm still having the same sort of breakfast and lunch. It's really my dinner that I'm just having shitty food, like macaroni and cheese. That's not a good meal to have. Chili, not so much. It was all homemade, so I'm not dumping in 10 gallons of salt or anything else. So that's not too bad, but obviously having two big bowls is overeating. Just little things like that I'm contributing to that are going to sort of start adding up and make things worse and worse. But I think the fact that I just continued on with the treadmill, I think is very, very important. So whatever it is that you decide to do, if you are a runner or a jogger or a walker or whatever, you don't have to just quit entirely. You don't have to keep going at the same pace that you do. If you've hit something that is just, you're on the verge of saying fuck it and giving up, then just at least show up. Take your walk, but just do a very slow, leisurely walk. Take half the time that you normally would do for a walk, that you would do it in. Yeah, I feel like I'm cutting off my sentences partway through. Like that. But, do that. That's pretty much what I did. I just went, halfway, and then I thought, okay, I have to at least do something. I want to finish out the hour. It's going to be really shitty, and I'm just walking, but it's better than me just stopping altogether. If you're a swimmer, then, do half the number of laps that you normally do. If you're a weightlifter, then cut the amount of weights that you're lifting by half and just sort of have a really easy time of it just for a couple of days. I think it's going to be much easier if we do that than, when we do start to pick up, we aren't really starting from square one again. You can look, I would much rather look back on this week. I mean, I've only got 3 days left, so I would much rather look back on Friday and go, you know what? I still did my treadmill every day. I still stayed under my calories every day, and I started improving things starting today. So I had 2 days where, things were kind of shitty. But overall, yeah, it was a rough patch. I don't want to look back and say, you know what? Monday was meh, Tuesday was shitty, and then Wednesday just went downhill, and then Thursday and Friday I did nothing, because it's so much harder to get back into the game. Oh, God, these are really filled with a lot of shitty metaphors. I don't mean that. It's really hard to get back into our schedule and that structure that, for me anyway, I find I really, really need when I'm just so far gone from it. And, I mean, again, we do still run the risk of saying, well, yeah, I'm going to take a few days off, and then that turns into a week, and then you think, I'll start Monday, that'll be fine, and then, well, near the end of the month, I'm going to start on, the first of the month, and then that turns into, I forgot to start on the first, so I'll start next Monday, and that turns into another week, and then you look back, and you realize that you've gone a month and a half, and you haven't done anything, and then you weigh yourself, and you've gained half your weight back. So I think it's still a risk for a lot of us, sort of falling back into that. It would be much more difficult to fall into that than it would have been even 6 months ago. But that danger is still there. I think it's always going to be there for me. But I think that if I can look back and say, okay, you know what? Yeah, I slacked off a bit. I didn't do the exercise with the intensity that I should be doing for the week. But I still did it every day. I still, I don't care what it is. If it's yoga, just show up and just sit and relax and don't do all your spiny, bendy, flippy, twisty things. Whatever you do in yoga, which I don't know what you do. It's a slower version that's Tai Chi. It's a slower version of Aikido. There you go. A little bit of interesting information for you. That's pretty much all it is. Slap. Anyway, whatever it is that you decide to do, and it doesn't have to be something where you're like, I'm going to do 10% less. Obviously, if you're to a point where you're just kind of like, I just don't kind of feel like doing it today, we've all been there. Go do it anyway. That I've had plenty of days like that where I just think, I don't want to do that, and I think, I should do it. Once I get on there, I'm fine. But when you're to a point where you think, I'm exhausted for whatever reason. I don't have kids to blame, so I can't do that. But for those of you that do have kids, and I know a lot of people are like, you have to make the time. Well, fuck you. You don't have 2 kids that wake up at 4 a.m. and still have to be out for school by 6. It's not a simple matter. It's just making time. But whatever that you do, like if you have a week where things are just all over the place, whether it's actually time constraints or, scheduling conflicts, or even if you've had one of those moments where you think, I can't do this anymore, still show up. I think that's the most important thing that we can do, is if we just show up so that, we aren't getting out of that schedule entirely. Even if you're taking a really, really lazy time of it, like on the treadmill, if I'm just going to walk, at half the pace I normally do for that hour or for that half hour, at least I'm still doing something. I'm not just saying, you know what, instead of doing the treadmill, I'm going to go sit and eat popcorn and watch movies. I still did the treadmill. Did a really shitty job of it. But going from there. So I want to see how things go today and for the rest of the week. So I will update you on Saturday just to sort of let you know, okay, had a couple of bad days. It evened out and started coming back up at the end of the week. I would much rather see that instead of me just going, I hit a wall and have never recovered from it. And this is now Saturday and I'm still doing nothing at all. Because once we sort of get a taste for that, just like the cakes and the cookies and everything else, we don't stop. Because we want it so bad. We just want to, everybody does. At some point, we just want to lay down and sleep for 12 hours and not do anything. And it's okay to want to be lazy like that. I just think for us, it's a dangerous path to start going down, especially for me, because I have a hard enough time as it is on the weekend without having that same structure of, getting up and going to work and then coming home and having, everything going on at the exact same time. The weekends are just really haphazard, however you pronounce it. So I don't want to start adding that in during the week as well. And the good thing is that this scheduling thing is going to be done by the end of the week. It's mainly I'm just training people, so I'm going in a bit later, accommodating all that stuff, which makes no sense because they are on the same schedule as I am, and we're actually going later for everyone to be inconvenienced. Makes no sense at all. But that's the business world, so good times. But once that's done, then I'm back on my regular schedule, starting technically Saturday. But starting on that Monday, everything will be back to normal. So at least, I can see the end, and it's only been a couple of days, so this sounds really whiny, but it doesn't take much. Those 2 days, combining, the poor eating with, the scheduling thing and not getting enough sleep and all the other stuff that sort of goes in there with it. And of course, when you're not eating right, you don't feel well, and you're just kind of lazy all over the place, so that adds to it. So it's just a bunch of little tiny itty bitty things that are sort of piling up, that I've let pile up, really. So at least I can look at this and say at the end of the week, things will be done and over with. I don't want to use that as an excuse to look back and go, you know what, I could have done more. So this week, at least yesterday and Monday, have been really shitty. But I'm going to try to do better this week. So I've got 3 days to sort of make up for the 1.5 kind of crappy days that were going on. And see where things go from there. I think in general, though, as long as I keep going, whether I'm doing it at 100% or 70% or 50%, as long as there's still that attendance, I guess, for lack of a better term, then in the long run, I think it'll come out okay on the other side. Which sounds, again, really douchey and stupid and lame to me. So, anyway, I'll update you on Saturday and let you know how things go. But for right now, I am going to leave this video here. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me. And in the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.